Down, drunk at Disorderlies 39, 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 39, 39, 39, 39, drunk at Disorderlies. All right. Well, now I'm officially allowed to be an asshole. Welcome to an episode of 39 DD, huh?
Number 18.
Shit.
Yes, welcome.
We're just going to slide into this one.
18 here at 18:30.
Oh,
Middle of the summer? Middle of the summer?
We are here middle of August.
That's the middle of the summer.
And
Summer can't end soon enough for me, man.
we are down.
I want to put my Christmas tree up. I'm done with this shit.
I was thinking about putting on some Christmas jingles lately. It's hip
yeah,
to
it's
do
one of
it.
those things.
Really?
No, you
Yeah,
put Christmas
if you do it
jingles on
outside
when
of
it's
a-
really hot.
Yeah.
Then it makes you feel better.
Huh.
And then not when they're playing in department stores, because then that's
Yeah,
just
because that's the
stupid.
worst.
That's just stupid.
That's when you actually hate. See, I think I agree with you, Trev.
Thank you,
These one of these
thank
times, I think honestly, like for example, if they played Valentine's Day music on Halloween, you'd like it more because you'd be like, "Wow, this is actually like every horror movie we've ever seen."
And it's spooky.
The sound theory you have
You know?
there. Yeah.
Secondly, again, Christmas music, right? Middle of summer, sweating your ass off, fucking doing something shitty, like you're working outside digging fence post holes or something, right? And all of a sudden on the radio, it's like, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. You know, you start looking around, you're like, well, no, fucking it's not. But in your mind, you're like, yeah, if there was snow on the ground, this would be much worse.
That's why you listen to Beach Boys over the Christmas holiday, because
Yeah.
everybody loves surfing across
Love
the
it.
USA.
Love it. Love it.
Everybody does love
So
surfing.
we're downtown Toronto tonight, and we got a studio live audience here. Windy City
yeah.
Nick is
Windy
here.
City
We
Nick
always
is
got a studio
back.
live audience.
It's been a
It's amazing.
while.
He left for a bit, but he is back. We've got. Yeah, there he is. We've got Jim Tubor, who is
To be
always
on
in
the
effect.
sound.
Don't bother. Give
Cifer
Wendy Nick
Pics,
a microphone
Who
right now,
has
okay?
Jimmy rigged a tripod for us because one of our producers fucked up again.
And now we're creating words too. Put that one in your new dictionary. Jimmy rigged.
Is there a racist?
Well,
word
there's
for that?
jerry rigging,
Oh right.
which
Oh,
happens fairly
really?
often.
Yeah.
I always say Jimmy
But
Rig.
you can Jimmy something.
I think
You
it
can-
depends on
you
what
can
town
Jimmy
you're
something.
from.
What do you? Well, you're a tech
No, I
guy,
think it
Jim. What do
depends
you
on
think?
your
His
diction.
name is Jim. So Jim, what do you think? Right, it is because do we know what the origin of that is, or
It's a
Right.
cool dude named
because
Jerry.
I'm worried because I just found out that spick and span is a racist term, and you can't say that. So I'm worried about what other slogans I've picked up over my ignorant upbringing.
Yes, but jerry rigging is not a slogan. It's just a saying.
right.
This
Well,
is
so is
slang.
spick and span, and apparently it's not.
Well, no, Spick and Span was actually the slogan for Mr. Clean for quite a long time.
but
and
what he's
that's what I
saying is you
thought.
can't
and then
say
Vim,
spick and span.
Vim
Right.
took it too for a while during the '80s, right? I think. Anyway, that doesn't matter.
Who else do we have in the audience tonight? We got a couple people in the back. What do
At
we
least
got?
3 executives.
Identify
from-
yourself. What kind of humanoids are you?
Hales and J-Dog. That's who that is. Hales and J-Dog. They were at the comedy show earlier today. We had a great comedy show. We had Doug Koning, Christoph Davidson.
Did you guys enjoy the show
and
earlier?
Dan
It was
Gallia.
really great. It was funny.
great.
There was a
Now
lot of
remember, anything you
talent.
say will be heard by literally dozens of
That's
people.
okay. I am not as bad as June, so
How bad?
Uh-oh.
How bad,
How bad is June?
June might say some stupid stuff.
Yes.
Oh my!
You do
June
Give
not.
us that.
June's-
Put June on the mic, please.
June's drunk and disorderly right now.
So what's going on, June?
You don't really want to hear it.
Yeah, we
Are-
do. That's why we gave you a microphone.
Well, I saw.
Yeah.
Would you be more comfortable if you just texted it to me and I read it out loud on the air?
Do you
Just
have
give me your
text
number.
messages?
You got to speak into the mic.
Do you have
Yeah,
text
Haley,
messaging? That was the question.
Speak into that microphone for her.
What do you mean? Do I have text messages?
There you go.
I don't know. You
Haley
weren't
Transit.
sure about
No,
texting before.
I wasn't. No, I was sure that I couldn't do it one-handed. I have to. I don't live in a cave. I mean, contrary to the look you see before you. Wow.
You guys had an interaction already?
I'm getting the hate. I don't know. No, I met her outside. She seemed very friendly. All of a sudden, I'm in here. And she's like, yeah, this
Right.
guy can't text.
She's getting surly because she's been
Cave-
into the
cave-dwelling
sangria.
Neanderthal man over there and his no texting. Like,
Surly June.
you know, even with my
In
fat man
August.
fingers, you can still text by voice, eh? Like it is the 21st century.
One thing I know about June, and I only met her tonight, is that once she has 1.5 sangria, she gets really unruly.
She's only,
especially
she's
at,
only had one.
especially at
Only
podcasts.
one. Only one.
Yeah, let's get a sangria back
Just
here on the
don't
double.
talk to her in June because she'll get really mad.
You don't want to talk
Just
to June
say
in June.
it's June, and yeah, she's not a fan of that.
That's
at all.
great.
It's like when you walk up to somebody in their driveway in the middle of the hottest day of summer and saying, "What about this heat?" You're expecting to get punched in the face, and if you're not, man, are you surprised? Because you're going to. That's just a fact.
Well, welcome. Thank you
Welcome,
so much,
yes, of
Haley
course.
and June. We'll,
We always love
we'll-
live audience
we'll,
members
we're
because it
gonna
gives us
come
at
back
least
to you.
5 or 6
Yeah.
minutes of fodder.
Right now, I got to do a production shout out. We this is all about milestones. We keep just
Yeah.
getting bigger and better. And today, for the first time, if you're watching or listening to this on YouTube or any podcast platforms, we have thumbnails thanks to Karim at Cifer Pics. Thumbnails, proper thumbnails with the name of the episode on them, with a picture from the episode.
Which means if my voice is already burned into your head, now you can get idiot snapshots of me in various facial positions, highlighting exactly
Right.
every stupid thing that I have said for the last year.
It's all about thumbnails.
I've seen them, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see a spike, and we're gonna know
Oh, yeah.
it was
There's some
August
emojis,
19th.
man. Like we're getting with the young folk now. Like
Thumbnail day. We're gonna
Thumbnail
remember
day.
it for sure. And
I'm excited.
speaking of production notes, we started to mention it, but we didn't finish. The reason that this camera is on a bag and not a tripod is because you went to your staff slow pitch game
Yeah.
all afternoon down by the beaches. Got
Yeah.
into some wobbly pops, I'm sure, and forgot a tripod.
Yeah,
Tell
I
us
mean
about
that
your day.
that happened later. I mean it was a good day. I jetted from an audition. I got in early, and I was like, "Hey, I don't want to do this," and they're like, "Great, let's get you out of here." So
Nice.
that was fun. The pitch was great. There was lots of fun had. I came in. We were winning. Then we started losing.
Yeah.
slow pitch really is just synonymous with drinking beer near
Well,
baseball
I was
bats,
out.
right?
I was
Like,
out. I was out in the field, and I was like, after the first batter, I looked around. I was like, I'm gonna need a beer out here, right, guys? And they're like, yeah. So, however, the occasion came where the ball went up in center field towards me, and I ran, dove, laid out, didn't make the catch. Did not make the catch.
Oh.
But I felt redemption was on my side. Next batter up, ball pop fly to the center field. It goes up again. It drops. I slide and do not hyperextend this left arm and completely break my elbow.
But no.
and didn't make the catch.
No, I made that catch.
Oh,
Super
okay.
snag with
yeah,
with
give
the
him a round of
flare.
applause. He caught
There
it,
was
guys.
flare and everything. The glove turned.
Heroic
I
effort.
raised up my arm and realized that my arm was broken. And then I made some hits. It was 2 for 2.
Wow.
Let a grand slam fly through me. Yeah. I was injured at that point, so I felt like it was good by then. I was like,
That's
yeah.
huge.
And then our friend had a beach house down by the beaches there, so she had a post party.
Yeah,
So it's like, hey, come to the beach
which is
house.
probably a lot more stressful on your elbow than the
I
the
mean, it
softball.
wasn't my drinking elbow.
Yeah, see, the thing about slow pitch is one of those things. I mean, I watch it when I'm sitting in the park and the beach is getting hammered,
Yeah.
and it always sort of amuses me, like the amount of machismo that everybody who plays slow pitch has for it. Like the belly bumps on the field, like, yeah, we just accomplished something that isn't really masturbation with large orange balls, because really it's softball, right? Like
Yeah,
it's kind of a
a
sport.
league
Like,
came in
it's
after
kind
us,
of.
and they were like serious.
You know what it's like?
And it
It's
was
like the same reason curling's in the Olympics, so my grandfather can win a medal. Like it's one of those things. You know, softball is not. It's a sport. It's sport-ish. It resembles a sport, but I don't know.
So here's a bunch of front of house theater amateurs who came out for a day of softball.
I want to know how many injuries. 'Cause I think
there was about a good like 6 to 8.
softball's a
And that doesn't
terrible
that doesn't
recreational
surprise me,
game.
because
It's
you
a
can
terrible
hurt
game.
yourself as badly as playing baseball, and you don't have the satisfaction of playing baseball
surprisingly
Yeah.
dangerous.
because you're running. And
way better.
man, I see guys doing head first slides, and I'm like, it's softball. It's beer league softball, dude. Who are you proving anything to here? You eat a bag halfway through the game, break your wrist, fall down and twist your ankle over the side of your head like you're some kind of human origami piece, and for what? You get a $9 trophy you could have bought yourself
It was probably $3.
and respect at a local pub. Man,
Damn right.
you know what the fastest thing you can do to get respect at a local pub is? Walk in, buy a round. that softball team that's sitting there cheering, and everyone's like, yeah, they're our local heroes. You walk in and say, 1 drink for everyone on me. That softball team, no. They don't exist. They're like the WNBA. They just vanish.
Plus, it's probably like 2 or 3 of them, so it's just like.
Huh. The nice thing, though, is softball is a nice outdoor summer sport, and one of the nice summer things to do is go to the cottage. So I believe this is going to be a cottage country, cottage drinking kind of themed story.
Yeah, I definitely got a story about cottage country. Now, I don't own a cottage, never have. I haven't been in that demographic, blessed with the ability to purchase property in the middle of nowhere for absolutely no reason. So instead, I go camping, which is like purchasing property, only just put a tent on it, live there for a little while, and then leave. It's cool, you know. But anyway, one camping trip in particular, we were actually reminded about, thanks to, once again, my ex-wife telling stories after the show when she's not here, which is frustrating, because why not? She was here last week. But anyway, with Bracebridge. The story's about Bracebridge. It's one of these places I don't like very much.
You guys know Bracebridge?
It's not that it's necessarily a bad town. In fact, I don't even know that it is or isn't.
Was that clap
and
for
what's
yes
also
or no?
strange that you mentioned this is that my boss at the bar I work at just recently opened another venue in Bracebridge. Strangely enough, he bought a bar there. So
I know
now-
Bracebridge well. I
now
don't
our
know if you
sister
knew
bar
that.
is in Bracebridge.
For all listeners, where is Bracebridge?
It's about 20 minutes north of Aurelia on your way to Muskoka. So there's Gravenhurst, Bracebridge, and then a little further you get to Huntsville. I'm from Aurelia. That's why I know this.
We get a Huntsville shout out back
Aurelia.
there.
Yeah. Huntsville? You know Huntsville? Are you from Huntsville? Nice. Yeah. So we get it. Yeah.
She gets it.
Bracebridge.
Campers, ho!
Bracebridge is also famously home to Santa's Village as well.
Is
Have you ever
that
been to
where it
Santa's
is?
Village?
I saw some
all the
fucking
way up
signs
there?
for that shit. Yeah, but
Yeah.
again, Bob goes to Santa's Village. He gets barred from the town. They're like, "What the fuck are you doing at Santa's
Either
Village?"
that or you become Santa. They're just like, let's put a little gray in that beer. And
Are
there
you
go.
kidding? Are you kidding? They're children, and the giant like, let's bring the kids over instead of no, that's not gonna work.
Dude, I dress you up like Santa. Put the right beard on you. Fucking gold.
You think I'd just kill that?
So last week,
That's really great. When your friends are like, "You'd make a fantastic fat old guy." Oh, jeez, guys.
So last week,
Fucking
after
self-esteem hits just keep on coming.
I have to do virtually nothing.
guys, easy.
Where's my
Easy.
sleighs and my fucking
I
reindeer?
don't like it when we fight. Now, so last week, after last week's episode, Bob's ex-wife was here, and you guys, after the show, we went to Monarch, and you started telling this crazy story about how you and her were on your way to go camping.
Yeah, with her
north,
younger brother.
and then just the shit hit the fan, and it was just a debacle. So tell us about it.
Okay, so it starts with me nearly losing all the fingers on my right hand.
No, the audience, he does have all fingers still
Yep,
on.
they're all here.
there.
They're all there.
But this is the closest.
this
you've
was
ever
the
come
closest
to
I've ever
losing all
come
of
to
them.
losing. Well, 4 at least right away. So we're flying down the highway. It's summertime. Windows open, music blaring, blah blah blah. And I got my hand, out the window, holding on to the top of the roof, just like jiving along, enjoying the tunes, enjoying the ride, wind in my hair.
Kind of feels like you're
woo.
driving too because you're
Yeah,
holding
'cause
on
I'm
to the
holding
car.
on to the car, whatever. It's just also just after a while you change positions so many times you get a comfortable one. There's So anyway, I'm sitting like that. The car starts making odd noises with the engine. I didn't hear them, but when it's your car, you get used to the sounds it makes and whatever. So my ex, she definitely hears these sounds, and so her reaction is to try and get a better listen to the car. She turns the music down. I look over. But that's not enough. She's still not sure because the roaring sound of the wind coming through the windows. So she jams the master control to put all the windows of the car up, right? And these are power windows. So they go up. And a little known fact about power windows, and I think I mentioned this at least once before, when they stop or stall on something, they just stop. And if you keep pushing the button, they incrementally go just a little bit further against the resistance that's holding them back. So anyway, she jams the window shut, and my hand gets caught in the window. And she's like, "Be quiet, the car's making noises." I'm like, "My hand?" She's like, "No, the car's making noises." I'm like, my hand? So the car is making noises. I'm like, "My fucking hand!" And she finally looks over, and she's been doing this, like, pushing the button the whole time. And I can feel the window going, rear, 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 across the last joint of my fucking finger. And it's getting tighter. Not, you know, and there's no safety like, oh, like an elevator door that reopens when you're caught in it. Fuck that shit. It's like, this is the amputator. It just takes a while. Like, so she finally looks over and sees me like freaking out. She goes, ah, I'm like, ee, and fucking jams the down button on the wrong window. So the back left panel window opens, and I'm like, ah! And then she's yelling about the car, and the car's making noise. She finally pushes it about the hand. I get my hand out of the window. And she's like, do you hear the car making noises? And the car just flat out dies. Like it starts to do this weird rolling, rumbling. So we pull off in this like well-marked nature conservancy just outside of Bracebridge. The thing is, it's not like a campground or something. It's like a nature conservancy. So we get partway down this road, and the car's like sort of rolling, then slowing down, and then making noises, then moving a bit. And we're trying to turn around and get back to the highway. And the only demarcation we have on this highway is this conservation zone. We just make it back to the turnoff on the highway. We're on the on-ramp. Sorry, not the on-ramp. This is the road. So we're on the shoulder, next to this conservation area. And we like, that's it. Car's done. It's not going anywhere. We're in the middle of fucking nowhere. Her brother's flipping out because he's like, he hates like the whole concept of this. So I don't know exactly why he was there, but he was despising this whole thing. So he's upset, and she's upset, and I'm upset, and trying to keep my fingers, which are all purple and like pretty sore. And it's got this like white line, like right down the knuckles. I mean, you could tell like the flesh was separating. It was pretty serious, right? So we called this tow truck from the CAA or whatever, and they get us in touch with a local tow truck in Bracebridge. And I don't know where this whatever dealership for the car was, but the guy shows up and drives like 100 miles or more the wrong way down the highway from where we tell him we are, and then calls us back when he's like 2.5 hours the wrong direction. And he's like, so where are you? And we're like, is your tow truck like black with like yellow stripes and like this thing on it? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, we saw you going by the other direction about an hour ago.
Nice.
And he's like, oh, so you're still at the Nature Conservancy? Yeah, that's what we told you when we called you. Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll see you in a bit.
Yeah, I thought you magically
So
walked.
by the time the guy finally shows up, and I'm sure this was strategic, like I'm sure the guy knew this, right? By the time he shows up, the dealership is closed.
Oh.
So he tows us in, and they can't look at the vehicle till the morning,
They trapped you in
let alone do
Bracebridge.
anything with it. So we have reservations at the campground. We're trying to get out of there. So we go to this local rental place, which they recommend from this, dealership, right? Should have known right then and there
Yeah, recommended.
that we're getting fucked. Like we're having the brace
Just don't
bridge.
take it.
We're getting braced in bridges here. Like they're just like, woo!
Let me take you down to Jim's place. It's just
Yeah.
some guy that he knows that has
So-
a car.
Yeah.
I don't mean you, Jim.
Jim?
Yeah.
Jim's just a really common name, Jim. Don't be offended, okay? Bob's a really
Okay,
common
fine.
name too. People fuck around with that constantly. So I'm like, Bob's your uncle. Fucking times you think I've heard that every day for the last 37 years. Anyway,
Okay, fine. James's place, let's say.
Right.
it's Philip's Demnance. Anyway, regardless, we get to this place and we walk in, and the one behind the counter, you know how people like in rental places and the airport and stuff are ridiculously obsequious. Like they're so bitterly sweet nice, but you can tell they don't give a fuck about your situation
Because they
at
never,
all.
Right.
they never met you and they don't know
And they don't
you,
care.
So why
They're just
should
in
they?
cruise
Yeah, but it's more than
control.
that, though. It's just like they deal with 1,000 people every day they don't give a fuck about, and you're just one more.
Hi, man.
So exactly, it's like hello, and that totally disingenuous smile, like the largest, totally most disingenuous smile, like the guy's smiley smile. Like, you're like, are you a fucking muppet or what? And it's like, all right, look, we're going camping. We need a car. We got to take our gear, and oh yes, we'll bring something right around for you. We have very few cars left on the lot, which is crazy. It's fucking Bracebridge. Like, what? What do you mean? Who the fuck is renting cars? Like, I mean, yeah, it's tourist season and sure there are people in town, but like, how did they get there if they didn't drive there? It's in the middle of fucking nowhere. Would they parachute in?
I think it's just the same way. There's just people going to cottage country and their car breaks down and they need to rent a car from Bracebridge.
Well, so-
it's like the Bermuda Triangle of car breakdowns.
Yeah, I just don't buy that shit. I just straight up don't. Anyway, I'm actually losing my temper thinking about it, which is mental because I did kind of flip out when I was there.
This is
So
great.
I'm getting more and more irritated by this, like, guy smiley routine from this one behind the counter. She's like, well, we don't have very many cars left. We'll bring one around for you and see how it goes. And we're going to bring around a Mazda 3 for you guys.
Oh, the 3.
Now, there's 3 of us. I am one of them. And we have an entire week's worth of camping equipment. And they bring around I don't know if you guys know what a Mazda 3 looks like, but it's basically a 2.5 door sports car that rides about 3 inches off the ground, has enough trunk space for you to put in your micro purse, right? And we have like sitting there is like this mountain of camping gear and me. And she pulls the car up and says, wow, this car looks a little bit small for you guys. And I'm like, really? Does it? I'm like, let's see if I can even get in it. And I open the door and I try, and guess what? Lo and behold, the tiny little sports car is too tiny for a 7-foot tall, 400-pound man. What a shock.
You're
Who'd have
the guy from The
Like-
Simpsons.
When the dude pulls the car up, yeah, well, this is not a clown car. Like, it doesn't have any, there's no leg room. Like, the engine block and the front seat are like this far apart, like 3 inches apart.
Laughing at my automobile.
Yes, exactly. And my leg from hip to knee is like 1.5 feet. So this whole process is completely wrong. I get partway in and I get out of the car and I just immediately swear. I'm like, what the fuck? And my ex, she's like, oh no. Looks over at me and sees that my inner child has had his moment and he's done now.
She's at this moment she sees you like starting to Hulk out.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Bruce Banner goes,
Oh no! Oh no!
She knows I've had my fill of like guys lying to me about how they got lost on the road they've driven on every day for the last 40 years. And like the dealership being like, well, I guess we could look at your car maybe on like Monday. You missed us by 10 minutes. It's like, I know why we missed you.
For the record, they do not have Southern accents in Bracebridge, but I
Doesn't
know
matter.
why
Every
you're leaning
redneck in
that
the world
way.
has the same accent.
According to this map, it is the heart of Muskoka. That's
Yeah.
the motto of
I
Bracebridge.
called up the wiki page if you want to know
The
anything
heart
about
of Muskoka.
Bracebridge.
Anyway, I don't know a few things about Bracebridge. Anyway, so I'm just out in the parking lot and I'm beside myself. I'm so sick of this. I want to be camping. I don't have that much vacation time. I don't take that much time off because I'm a private contractor kind of guy. I work. If I don't work, I don't get paid. There's no like paid vacation. There's no leave. So if I'm not working, I'm just literally losing money every day. And the last thing I want to be fucking doing is standing in a goddamn parking lot in the middle of fucking Bracebridge, losing money, while some woman obsequiously smiles at me and goes, this tiny little sports car is too tiny for you, giant sir. Like, that's fucking annoying. That's really fucking annoying. And it's not like standing in the fucking room when she knows the only thing she has is this tiny sports car. She can't take one fucking look at me ducking through the door and be like, I don't think the car we have is going to be right for you guys. She drives it out. She drives it out, parks it in front of me, then goes, oh, this doesn't. Yeah. I almost censored myself. This car will do for you guys and all your camping gear. So anyway, the ex goes in, and I'm outside, and I'm standing next to this car, and I'm thinking about punching the windshield out of this thing. Just like, I'm so frustrated that it exists.
I'll show you small, just smashing the windows.
No, it's fucking
No, it's
small.
small.
This is a
Yeah.
compact car.
Or like rips out the back
It's big
seats.
enough for Harry and the Hendersons, the roof, and just pokes your head out the top. Now it's big enough.
Yeah. So my ex doesn't know what's going on, and I don't know what's going on inside. She's trying to negotiate with them for anything else. They're like, do you have anything? Like, please, anything. I'm like, we're going to use this credit card. It's my mom's credit card, but it's, she gave it to me. It's mine. I can use it, blah, blah, blah. I'm one of the, whatever. Well, it turns out she's not one of the co-signers. She's not technically allowed to use the credit card, so they won't let her scan it for anything.
Oh, God.
And the woman finally says, okay, so I look and I see the obsequious smile again, and she's holding this credit card talking to my ex, being like, and I can tell right away it's not a happy story.
There's nothing I can do.
Like, oh, I don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah, so happy I can't help you.
You might have to go and stay at this motel that I know about. And I'm like, you are all just fucking trapping us in this shit town. Like, that's like one friend is fucking us, so the
You guys
next
are
guy
getting
can
the
fuck
shi-
us, so the next guy can fuck us.
The shining treatment.
Yeah, we're getting the shuckle along. So I lose it in the parking
You're the
lot.
caretaker of the hotel.
I'm screaming at the sky. I'm like a shit-flinging monkey. If I could have grabbed God by the testicles and given him a headbutt, I would have right then. I'm screaming at the sky. I'm like, I motherfucking hate motherfucking Bracebridge. And I didn't know this at the time, but the soundproofing of the rental dealership was not fantastic. So you can hear this sort of muffled through the glass. And the woman behind the counter looks over, and I picked this huge rock up out of the fucking ground and hurled it across the local highway into the trees like Bigfoot having a moment, Because Because that's exactly what was going on. I was having a fucking moment. First vacation in a year and a half, and I'm stranded in this shit town where everyone's fucking me for their friends. I'm just like, ah! So she makes one phone call and discovers that at the airport, they have a shuttle van. And they run the rental for the airport too, which is like this, like, airport is a really luxurious way of saying large grass field, small hangar,
Landing strip.
Right.
guy named Dwayne.
Right.
Okay.
The caretaker is also the security guy that swipes
Yeah,
your stuff.
and he might very well be lawnmower man. Like
Right.
he's just, you know. So they decide they're going to bring this van over and give us this van out of nowhere. They also decide they're going to run my mother-in-law's credit card, even though that's illegal, because they just don't want to deal with Sasquatch flipping out in their parking lot
Right.
anymore. So this van turns up, and it's like out of nowhere. Like the magic of getting angry at people who are fucking you. It's unbelievable how fast, all of a sudden, we have absolutely no vehicles we are going to jump through flaming fucking hoops to get you out of Bracebridge as fast as humanly possible. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I want. I want nothing to do with this fucking place. We ended up still having to spend the night in a hotel there. And I'm a smoker. Surprise, surprise. I have all kinds of other bad habits, and it doesn't really shock anyone, right? We arrived at what I like to refer to pleasantly as the no smoking motel.
This is the best.
And I don't mind places being no smoking. That's cool. You own a business or whatever. You should have the right to say that shit. That's cool. It's not a problem. That doesn't bother me. We get out of the car. There's a little sign on the lawn, like in the garden, right in front of the office. No smoking. Okay. Walk up the stairs. There's a sign on the door, little black, rectangle, gold letter, no smoking. Okay. Walk into the office. There are 3 no smoking signs right around the counter.
Like the black and orange ones.
Yeah, the yellow ones you can turn into no pie, those ones. So,
Oh, right.
and then this guy comes out from the back and he says to us, I have one room, but only for one night because we're getting people in tomorrow, this big group, and yada, yada. I'm like, we only need for one night. We'll get our rental in the morning. We're out of here. Like, it's fine. And he's like, okay, so I have one room, no smoking. I'm like, yeah, no problem. He goes, it's going to be blah, 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 no smoking. During the interchange between, paying for the room, getting the key, this guy must have said no smoking like 13, 14 times. On the walk to our room, this is not like a large motel, okay? It's like a roadside motel. On the walk to our room, which is past like 4 or 5 little bungalows, there are like 12 no smoking signs. We get to the room, and there's this like thing posted on the back of the door that explains that these are non-smoking rooms. You can't smoke in here, even if it's like in the bathroom under a blanket with a flashlight, whatever.
Even if
like,
it's an emergency.
and it just keeps going on. There's a no smoking sign in the bathroom. There's one hanging over the toilet. So in the middle of the night, I'm outside. The only place in the entire property where there is not a no smoking sign is this little wooden bench out behind like the oil tanks for the heating fuel. And I'm sitting there in the middle of the night smoking a cigarette. I don't know what I'm sitting next to, and I'm like, and I'm smelling gas pretty hard, right? And I'm about to flick my smoke, and I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe this is why there's no smoking around here. This place is like a fiery death trap. So I look over, and sure enough, there's a leak in the fucking oil tank behind this. Like it's just a slow leak. Nice high grade heating fuel. And I'm just about to go whoo and prove that no smoking is not enough. Smokey the Bear says you're burning to the ground. So anyway,
I like how the only place was not posted was beside
Yeah.
the oil tank.
That's the thing that tripped me right out. I didn't really, there's like this little shack, and right next to it is this bench, and I'm looking around. It's the only place on the property for hundreds of yards in all directions where there's and there's a can sitting there that someone's obviously used as an ashtray. Like it was the only spot that obviously stood out as like, maybe I can smoke over there.
Sounds like an elaborate murder scheme where they strand you in
This
their
is what
town.
I mean. Like I
and
thought
then they
Bracebridge was
guide
literally
you,
trying to
like,
kill me. Like
you
that's
must smoke
the
here.
most dangerous game. Get Bob to Bracebridge to the no smoking motel so he can blow himself up with natural gas. I'm like, oh man. So then we decided we need food and liquor. Because when you're in a small town, you need food and liquor.
Yeah.
Surely the
basic
grocery
necessities.
store and/or liquor store was open. Yes.
They were, but we didn't know where they were. We couldn't drive because we didn't have a vehicle.
Right.
Right? So what we ended up doing was calling, I don't even remember her name. It was like in the room there was this card. And it was the shape of a like a Volkswagen hatchback. and it had this woman's name on it, and it said "Deliver everything."
You told me Marge last week.
Yeah,
So for the
yeah.
sake of a name, Marge's Delivery.
I think it was Marge. So here's the thing: we called the Swiss Chalet and ordered food, and they're like, "Oh, Marge will be there in a bit." And then I didn't know what to say, so we called Marge to order liquor, and Marge said, "Oh, she'll pick up liquor and be there in a bit." Well, our liquor and our food showed up together
With March.
because she's the only delivery service in town. Like the restaurants don't have their own delivery guy; they just call her, which is amazing. That's a really small town Canada thing, and I love it. I love it. I think we managed to scare off our live audience.
Well, they may have
Just needed tasty, cool refreshments.
gone for now.
They were here. They were in their defense. They were here for a long time.
Are you sure?
Not a good time.
Hey.
You can't talk without a microphone. We can't do this right now. We'll come around
I mean,
to
I
you.
tried to.
This is not making sense to anyone who's listening.
Don't throw
We'll
balls
go
on
there.
camera.
We'll go there. Okay, we're
So-
doing it.
Very
We're going
injured.
to Windy City, Nick. This is early. The
So that's
story's not
basi-
even
so no,
over.
No, so that's basically it.
Yeah.
I mean, like we get our food and we get kind of hosed in the hotel room, and no smoking. We didn't smoke in the hotel room, even though he almost blew us up.
You didn't smoke, well.
And the next morning, we were paying our bill, and the guy was like, "You didn't smoke, did you?" And I was like, "Actually, I did, but not in the room." And he's like, "Well, did you find the smoking area out back?" And I was like, "I did, right next to your leaky oil tank." And he was like, "That's not my oil tank." And I'm like, "Well, what do you? Why? Well, where did it come from?" And he's like, "Oh, it's been there. Just I don't know." So you just set up your smoking section next to some random leaky oil tank in the back of your property, and he was basically like looked at me like I was dumb. I'm the one who's not making sense here. He's like,
yeah,
"Yeah, it's pretty far away from the doors that say no smoking, isn't it?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's true."
that's true.
So they gave us the van, the shuttle van, and we went camping, and it was actually kind of a crappy trip because her brother went mental and like broke his phone, and I almost duct taped him in the back of the car because like I just couldn't deal with this shit anymore. Like it was one of those like the whole trip just went completely south, and I blame Bracebridge.
It was all Bracebridge's fault.
Fuck
Yeah.
So
you,
if you're wa-
fucking
if
Bracebridge.
you-
You had your
if
snakes
you're
in the
watching
plane
this
moment.
in Bracebridge, look, I'm sorry for you, but like, fuck you too.
Sounds like you had your snakes on a plane moment. We were like these
Yeah.
fucking Bracebridges and these.
That's right. These fucking people in this fucking town are trying to kill me and steal my money.
We're gonna end up with enemies of the show in Bracebridge.
Well, like I
where
said,
they
my
all
boss
rise up.
owns a restaurant there now, so I know I'm gonna end up there again, and someone's gonna be like, "You're that guy that hates Bracebridge,
Yeah,
aren't
yeah.
you?"
One of my good buddies runs Bracebridge Hall. We can actually go and do a live show at Bracebridge
I
Hall.
like the way that you say
venue.
Bracebridge.
It's hard to say. Bracebridge.
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 Yeah,
Bracebridge.
there
There it is.
Man,
It's entertaining for
the
me.
diction on
Bridge.
this show is just phenomenal. Eh?
Especially at these hours.
A couple things I
The
love.
trained theater actors, the ones that have problems pronouncing things, that's what trips me out.
Yeah, on a Monday night, talk to any theater actor and you know what I'm talking about.
I love I love many things about that story, but one of the things I love is I would like to make a production request that when we shoot this, we shoot an alt version of what could happen where the four fingers fall off and bounce down the side of the road, and then you guys have to go look for them and like pick them up.
Yeah,
Just-
or the idiot in
just
the
as,
tow
like-
truck finds them. He's like, "I think these might belong to you."
right.
I'd like to do a
How did
drama.
you know?
A drama of where the fingers become a little jazz quartet,
Right.
and they are roadside, and they just
That's
have
more
a
of an
little.
anime.
At the conservation area.
That's an anime.
They kind of do like a little like chorus line thing.
Mhm,
Yeah, yeah.
mhm.
And I'm a big fan of you yelling. What was the line that you yelled?
I fucking hate fucking Bracebridge.
I motherfucking hate motherfucking Bracebridge.
I don't know
I feel like we
that.
can make T-shirts.
I
That could
fucking
be a
hate fucking
T-shirt.
Bracebridge.
That could be a T-shirt, and they'll sell out, especially in Bracebridge.
in where?
So I guess the theme is cottage-related things. Any Windy City, Nick? You got any drunken cottage stories? Say
Speak
that.
into the
Say that
microphone.
again with the microphone.
I can't. I think it was like Victoria Long weekend last year or 2 years ago. I had a friend that invited me for like a birthday thing up in Kawartha Lake, and I was like, "Fuck, okay." And I was about to cancel that day because I was like, "I don't fucking want to do this," but I was like, "Fine, I'll do it." I headed out there, didn't have a sleeping bag or anything, and they were gonna go camping in tents. But then they decided, no, one of the guys has a cottage. And I was like, "Cool, cool, cool." Show up, and there's one guy there who had been sober for like 2 years. And this was the day he decided to break his sobriety.
Nice.
And I was like,
Why?
fuck. So he started just putting back shots, beers, smoking every joint he could potentially find. Then he couldn't stop telling me about. He's like, you and me, we're like the same guy, you know. Like we're just like so similar. I'm like, in what way? And he's like, you know, it's like anxiety. I'm like, yeah, but just because we have anxiety doesn't mean we're the same fucking person. And it got worse and worse to the point that he fell asleep in the rain next to a fire. And the guy who invited me, his brother, I fell over in the cabin. He took we lost power in the fucking place. And this guy took a bottle of whiskey and tried to jam it down my throat and force me to drink alcohol for a couple of seconds. And that was, and the next day I was like, we're going home immediately. I don't give a shit about any of you. I don't know you that well. We're going home. And he's like, I agree. Like, it was just a shell shock of a fucking time.
Nick, that sounds like a lovely Canadian weekend at a cottage.
It was the worst thing
That's par for
ever.
the course.
You know how in Mexico you do shots out of a bottle on the chorus line, like next to a beach? In Canada, it's like in the dark at a cottage against your will.
Getting force-fed beer by semi-strangers.
Yeah, like that's just the Canadian experience.
What made it best is that 3 guys who hadn't been...
When the power
who
goes
hadn't-
out, you breed.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
There were 3 guys that hadn't been there yet and showed up just when he was forcing alcohol down my throat. So they showed up at that time and they looked at me and I was like, please lead me to my bedroom. I want to go to bed.
And they're like, we're in.
But
So,
did
yeah.
they make you bacon and eggs in the morning?
No, I think I had like a dirty hot dog from the night before and I was like, I fucking hate this place.
That's great.
Yeah, and
hot
Kawartha
dog you
Lake is
find
a...
next
Was
to
it-
the
where was
cooler,
it?
You know what I mean?
Right.
You
It's
just
got hash
Kawarthas?
on
You know,
it.
do you know the Kawartha? The
Blow the
Kawarthas.
ants off it.
Just
The
a dark,
Kawarthas, yeah.
dirty place where one guy at a gas station, sort of like you were talking about how they all knew each other. One guy at a gas station with red eyes who wasn't high. He just had red eyes. Just wouldn't stop looking at me. And I was like, great. He knows we're from the city. I'm going to have to squeal like a pig.
Suey!
Yeah. And that's about it.
That's excellent.
Windy Nick, everybody. I mean, Windy Nick.
Windy
Windy
City.
City Nick.
Windy Nick.
That was a Freudian slip.
You know, it's funny. I think there's
Windy
like
Nick.
I think there's like two. I think there's like 2 kind of cottage experiences that people have, and it's like you go to an amazing cottage and it's absolutely fantastic, or someone takes you to like a creepy shack, and you're like, what the fuck is this place, man? Like the floorboards are rotted and it smells like, you know, lube and shame, and
You
you're like,
just
what the
get-
hell's happening?
This
get
is an
to- you
episode
get
of
to-
Saw.
You get devoured by bugs all night and all day. Yeah, it's not good.
A lot of the cottages in Muskoka have, some of them have elevators. Jim, the sound guy here, that was great.
Hey, our sound guy did something with the
Yeah,
sound.
it's good. I didn't spill water all over the table and all the floor, but you know.
Thank you.
Because you can't all be Lars.
Shout out to earlier.
Oh,
What can I say? I've
I'm getting
knocked
the mic
over.
taken away from me already.
I forgot one last thing. It's the same guy, the one who had broken his sobriety the day before. For the next day, the entire day, all I saw him doing was this. I know, no, I'm just gonna for you. It's pacing back and forth, just talking to himself, and I was like, either he's whatever, but I know that he's regretting every
Toxic shock from liver failure.
Yeah, regretting
He should
every
be
decision he
very,
ever made that
Very
night.
disappointed.
There's gremlins on the wing. Like,
All right, Jimbo, let's do it.
you look like the kind of guy that's been cottage.
This is a cottage story.
It's a cottage story. It's a cottage story after my first divorce.
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Divorce cottage. Mm.
So my buddy and
It's in a reality show, CBC. Remember that? Divorce
Right,
cottage.
right. This week on Divorce Cottage,
There's some-
it's just Jim and Millhouse's dad.
3 bottles of Jack Daniels.
a lot more divorced people than that. But yeah, no, that sounds
Right,
like a
no,
good
of
show,
course.
actually. Yeah.
It
Really?
does sound-
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Anyhow,
a show.
so sorry.
Divorce
carry on.
Cottage.
No, it's so my buddy had a couple. We're all roadies, and it's 2 guys, 2 girls. You know, we'll go up to his cottage and decide to have a good weekend. And there was just a table of alcohol, like not a small table. We're talking like
Like a picnic bench.
yes, like
A
and
dining
just
table.
with everything. And I don't remember. So what I remember is Apocalypse Now. And
It never
I'm,
plays to the end, though. You never make it to the end.
yeah, so I'm coming out of the water slowly and start crawling over the grass because there's a couple there. The couple are kind of on. No, this is 2:00 in the morning.
So they're
And
having
they-
sex,
and
and,
they're on
you're
the
trying
and
to
they're
join
on the
in.
lawn. No, they're not having sex.
I don't
It's
know,
a
what are you saying?
two girls, and so I'm creeping up on them, but I'm
Are you describing a crime right now? What are you
No.
getting to? Is this a dream you had,
Just-
or like an idea for a horror movie? What is this a real thing?
Or
It's
was
a
this
real
in
thing.
Korea?
So
like, I don't know.
I'm gonna back it up. So you're at a cottage with a bunch of people, and there's some girls sitting, and
there's
it's the
4
middle of the
people,
night,
2
and you're
guys, 2
creeping out
girls.
of the water like a swamp monster.
So one guy went to bed like a sensible man. You're in the water somehow like a Navy SEAL, sneak up on these girls sitting by the fire.
And so
Easy,
the other
Rambo.
the one goes inside and the very attractive one's outside. So I'm sneaking on the ground and kind of I was going to say backdooring her, but that's not the proper.
No,
I'm coming
Jim,
up behind her anyway.
It's
So
not the show we're having.
This is great.
so and we know each other for a while, so it's not. It's creepy. Anyway, so she comes, and I make noise, and she sees me there, and she gets a towel, and all right, well, and then she wraps it. Anyway, so long story short, I start to say that I'm very attracted to her, and I just wanted to see what she felt, and it was my buddy's girlfriend. But he's such a white guy. He never told me that, and I'm like hugging naked around it, towel around me with this girl, and it's like, actually, I'm seeing your buddy, and I'm like, sorry. It's like,
Yeah,
Cool story, bro. I
the-
love that.
the awkward semi-sexual assaulty pickup lines. Those are my favorite. When you just sneak up on a woman and you're like,
Yeah.
I love you. And she's like, why are you in my shrubs? And you're like, because I love you. Damn it.
And then she's like, I'm dating your friend.
I'm dating your friend. My dad's a cop. I own a gun. Like, I don't know.
Karim, for the record, we're looking for a crazy drunken party story, not necessarily a true crime confession. Okay.
Maybe something that didn't happen in Animal House or Weekend at Bernie's or
Nothing-
Porky's.
Nothing we'll lean a lawyer
So
for.
note to self, if you take Jim camping and you can't find him for a while, look for the snorkel sneaking up on your girlfriend.
Yeah, no Porky stories.
In high school, before you come, I gotta explain. I gotta say this before you tell your story.
Sorry, what?
So
Freudian slips? Yes? What?
no,
Who's coming?
maybe because of what I'm gonna say. So a buddy of mine in high school used to do this. You ever had a buddy that knows a very awkward, rude joke, but just tells it just to be awkward? And often he would tell it to strangers. So he would just meet people at a party and just to fuck with them and make us feel comfortable. And his go-to thing, speaking of cottages, he would be like, he'd come up and be very sincere, and he'd be like, "Hey, if you can I ask you a question? If you went camping with like a bunch of your friends, and you woke up in the morning and you're like, your ass really hurt, and it was like lube all over it, and you couldn't remember what happened, and you didn't know what it was, would you tell anyone?" And so the stranger gets this weird fucking question, and then it's like, I don't. Usually they would be like, I don't know. Like sometimes be like, I don't know, no, and then he would go, "Want to go camping?" And that was his awkward fucking joke.
And then after that, he says that, it's just dead silence.
Yeah, it'd be dead silence, and then I'm like, man, why are you doing that in front of strangers? It's
Can't
the
remember the
worst.
story, but
Feel how awkward it got right here on the podcast.
yeah, you see,
That's how it would
I had
get
an
that
awkward
way.
moment like this with one of the guys I grew up with, one of the guys I played music with years ago. They were drinking at my place, and I wasn't there, and one of the guys passed out, and a couple of these like stupid, like, Sum 41 punk rock kids that I was friends with decided that it'd be great to take a spoon, like a wooden spoon, put a condom on it, stick the spoon up the guy's ass, and then leave the condom hanging out of his ass. So he wakes up in the morning, and puts this condom hanging out of his ass.
That's actually
Now-
It's a nightmare.
hilarious.
Now, here's the thing, though. I wasn't there for this, but I heard about it when I got home, and I was like, "So, you sexually assaulted him in the bum?" And they're like,
they're
"No, it's
they're
just a
like-
prank."
They're like, that's
Like,
right.
he put some lube and this kind of
That's
stuck
right.
it up his ass with a spoon. Right.
but we
So,
were joking.
so
What?
you like fuck this guy in the ass with a spoon. Is what you're telling me?
Yes.
No, it's not like that. I'm like, that's
But for fun.
that's pretty questionable, man. And he's like, no, it's just a prank. It's funny. I'm like, actually, like, that's a crime.
That's like hockey hazing. 'Cause I never played hockey,
my
but
house.
I always heard a hockey team hazing nightmares.
Oh, like Ookie Cookie and
But
shit like
if
that.
Yeah.
you did that to someone else, like that could be detrimental. But I mean, I don't think I mean, okay, like I think in this case, if it's
In
your
this
friend,
instance, it was some idiot punk rock jerk.
but
If
I'm
it's your
saying if it's your
friend.
friend,
You can
That's a
rape your
weird way
friends,
to
is what
say-
Trevor's saying, right? He's saying as long as you know
As
the
long as
person, it's
they're
not really
your
sexual
friends.
assault. You can,
Yeah, that's the question though, because
And
I'm
as long
what
as
I'm
it's a
what do
saying-
you mean
wooden
that's the
spoon.
question? That's not a question. You don't stick shit up
You
people's
can't
ass
throw
against them
people
when they're
and-
Do you want to
past
go
that-
camping, Trev?
And-
Yeah, exactly. You want to go camping? Wait,
Can't do
here's
that.
my. Here's my.
That's not a
Let's put it
So
this
you're
way.
saying if you're on good
If
like
you fell asleep
jokes,
and I lubed up your ass and jammed something in it, even if I thought it was funny, would you think it was appropriate?
no,
Okay, that's it.
right? So
Boom. Like,
doesn't matter.
bottom line.
Doesn't matter. If,
We're
how-
working
how well
through
you know
shit
them.
here. There's always an educational factor to this,
What do you? Okay.
right? But it
Sorry,
is-
Karim. That went on its own.
No, it's
Kareem,
like
yeah,
my
we went
cottage
way off-
story
we
is
went way off
nowhere
the-
close
the
to
rails.
this. So
No
go ahead. That was good. That was
No
fine.
spoons up your ass. You're all right.
My cottage story. It was literally the first time I ever went to a cottage in Canada. My friends were like, Actually, no, it was during winter. We're like, yeah,
What?
during December, we're gonna go up to Muskoka to a cottage. Do you want to come? I was like, never been, so sure. So we decided to leave on a Friday. I was dead tired. So we get in the car. I fall asleep like literally 5 minutes after I get in the car.
Sure, I sleep in cars continuously. It's amazing.
I wake
It's
up
comforting.
and I find we're driving in a fucking snowstorm.
Oh yeah.
So it was literally this friend of mine, his brother, and I. And we didn't see 20 feet in front of the car. And
It's
we're driving
exciting.
all the way to Muskoka.
yeah.
So I was like, whoa, okay, what the fuck? That woke me the fuck up. And his brother and I literally had to tell him, okay, you're swerving way too much to the right, or you're swerving way too much to the left to keep him on track. If it wasn't for that, we would have like
Right.
ended up
It's
in a
very
ditch
difficult
somewhere.
to see the edge of the road on
Yeah,
some of those
yeah. You
country
gotta
roads
like
up in
you gotta
Muskoka
the
too.
three. You gotta like yeah.
They're
Especially
windy.
if the snow gets high, if the snow gets high enough, those side markers disappear.
Yep,
Right.
that's exactly what happened. So we drive, then we end up in Muskoka, and now we spend 30 minutes trying to find the fucking place that we rented on Airbnb. Turns out the place is somewhere in some backwoods up a hill in a snowstorm,
I
In a
hope you're
car.
driving a 4-wheel drive.
and we were not driving a four-wheel car.
Yes, you're fucked.
So we get to the hill. My friend stops. We get out of the car. All three of us get out of the car, look at the hill, like, what the fuck are we going to do now?
Walk.
And the issue
Snowshoe.
is, all three of us in the car are big. Like, my friend and I'm 6'1", like 250 pounds.
That's huge.
He's around, not close compared to you.
Sorry,
Like, you're an anomaly, but like,
I'm an unnormally.
And enormally.
Put that one in now,
That's a
boys and
good-
girls. That's another one today.
Enormally.
but
We're
yeah, my
Jimmy
friend,
Riggin and I'm an unnormally. All right, so
We know words so
we're
good.
creating words tonight.
hey,
But yeah,
Shakespeare did it, so can I, motherfucker. Let's do it.
I think the car, like, between me and my friend, just me and him, were like over 600 pounds.
Weight probably helps in a
Plus,
situation like
plus
that.
the like luggage we had in the car, and his brother were like, okay, fuck this, get everything out of the car. He's gonna drive the car uphill. He managed to do that, and then my next friend comes over with his girl, and his girl is driving a car that's like 30 years old.
Wow.
That car is not getting up the hill.
No.
So
No, it is not.
we, at that point, we are in the cottage. It's around 1 a.m. in a cottage, so there's no light around
it's
us.
just dark.
Nothing. And it's in the middle of a country with wolves around.
Yeah. Sure.
So we're like, okay, now we have to walk out of the cottage,
We're in wolf country.
Sure.
walk all the way down to the hill in pitch darkness. Like, we didn't see shit.
You know, fucking flashlights in the cottage.
No, that's the point. Like, we got out and we're like, okay.
Right. You didn't bring it here.
Yeah,
and
you
we
were
started like,
ill-prepared.
but like everybody pulled out their phones, flashlight from their phones and shit. Get down the hill. Getting down the hill was an issue by foot. Like, all of us slipped, nearly fell. Get down to the car, and my friend decides, oh, I'm the best driver here. I'm gonna drive the car up the hill. It's like, all right, do that. He
See
gets
a
in the
ditch- I
car.
see a ditch in your future, sir.
He gets in the car, drives about halfway down the hill. We are all like walking besides the car. And out of a sudden, the car stops. And everybody is like, oh, fuck. the car starts sliding down the hill towards us.
Yeah. And then you're pulling the Indiana Jones.
Exactly.
With
Right.
Everybody's
stone rolling down
diving.
here. It's like,
I ain't gonna lie. I had a moment, like a slight second of hesitation where I was like, maybe I can stop it. And then I saw the car. I was like, what the fuck? No.
That would have been. How did Karim get run over by a car?
fucking 3,000 pounds of steel in the middle of a snow. I got this. You want to see my superpower? You know?
Yeah.
So the car slid down all the way down the hill. And he had to drive again. All the way down the hill. I think it took us like 6 attempts to get the car back up the hill.
You know where he was? Right outside
Fucking
Bracebridge.
Bracebridge. That's right. You must have been real
Right
close.
outside.
Heart of
Bracebridge.
Muskoka.
The Bermuda Triangle of Cottage
Yo,
Breakdown.
that's right. That trip, I felt like I was in Get Out because I ignored horror movie signs one after the other.
Yeah.
Because the next morning, the weird part, that's not even the weirdest part about the trip. The next morning, we woke up, realized we didn't really have food at the place because none of us thought to actually bring breakfast. Like, we brought stuff for like barbecuing and all that shit, but none of us had breakfast.
Barbecuing in the
Nice.
middle of winter. It's all right. That's what beer is for. That's what breakfast
Yeah,
is.
it was. Anyways, we decided, a friend and I was like, okay, I got a 4x4, like all-wheel drive. We'll drive down to Timmins. Come with me. I went.
When you're driving down to Timmins, man.
No, Timmins. Tim
Oh,
Hortons.
Timmy's. I thought you said Timmins. I'm seriously. I'm
sorry.
like, holy shit! You guys weren't fucking kidding. You were going there, eh?
So we drive down to Tim Hortons, and at the same time, he's like, okay, let's stop by that. It was a mall,
Yeah,
and there was like a Walmart. It's like, I got to go grab something at Walmart. I get into Walmart. 2 or 3 minutes in, I started looking around. It's like, what the fuck? Every other person that I meet is looking at me strangely.
Of course they are.
And I'm like, why is everybody looking at me?
I can guess.
Yeah, me too.
Exactly. So it took me a few minutes to realize I was the only fucking black
I
guy
was going to
in
say,
that
for those of you
Walmart.
at home who can't see Karim, he is a luscious chocolate man, okay? So,
Right. I'm sure you can tell by the voice.
Yeah, and the accent.
what?
Okay.
Anyway,
Senegal.
carry
right?
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
Senegalese.
So I walked down the Walmart, and my friend's like, okay, I'm just because he had to go by like I think like he forgot his toothbrush or some
I'm
shit
probably
like
going to
that.
get crucified for that luscious chocolate comment, I
No,
think, but
it's
that's
the
okay.
truth.
I think
I'll
that's
let it
beautiful.
It's the truth.
It's the
Come on
truth,
down to a live
exactly.
taping and you can
You'll
meet
see what
Karim.
I'm saying.
But yeah, so
I got a spoon
the
for you,
only
Karim.
white guy I was with leaves me alone in a Walmart full of white people. It's in the like that. I don't even know how to describe it. Like there was nothing around that fucking Walmart.
In the middle of Cracker Town.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There you go, buddy.
So I'm like, all right, sure. I'm just gonna walk around for a minute. Turn around. There's a Walmart employee behind me. Walk on. I was like, oh fuck. Here it goes again. I walk out again.
Right, because you're going to shoplift from a Walmart in the middle of a snowstorm in the middle of nowhere. What am I stealing? I'm stealing a parka and a pair of snowshoes, and I'm going to put them in my pants. Watch me do it. Fuck.
So I
You
get
know, Karim, it's okay. I get
Yeah.
followed by mall security, too, because they think I'm like the Unabomber or something. Like, it's ridiculous. Or I'm just there to, like, put children in my bag and carry them out of the... Like, nah, it's ridiculous.
Yo, that trip was fun, man. I was like,
That's serious. That's a series of series right there.
yo, it was one after the other, and I was like,
That's how it goes, though.
yeah,
Once the
I'm-
dominoes start
So
dropping,
that was your fucking.
That was my first cottage trip.
cottage. Wow.
you got
Sorry.
the redneck experience, you got the snow frozen experience, you got the car broken down experience, the no food unprepared experience. That's-
The racist experience.
Yeah. Well, I did say Walmart small town.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That kind of goes hand in hand.
Thanks, small town Ontario.
What is the appropriate?
Like
What
small
would be
town
the appropriate
everywhere.
Oh
reaction?
yeah, but like think.
Listen, go to small town in China, and you or I guarantee, would get some interesting fucking reactions. Like, I'm just saying, racism
Right.
is not exclusively a white American thing, okay? As long as we understand that. Precisely.
Yeah.
What do you
I-
think is? I just want to address that for you. So can you pass it back to Karim? For you, so you're in a Walmart. You're
Yeah.
clearly like one of these things just in like the other, right? Like, and that's why they're looking
One
at
of
you
these
because they're
things
like,
didn't
oh,
marry
who
his
is this?
cousin, one of
For
the-
better
yeah.
or worse, like I wouldn't judge that they're all looking at you negatively either. Like some people are probably just like, oh fuck, like they're just
Holy shit,
not
they're
everybody.
real.
they're taken
Yeah.
by
Like-
you. Yeah. I mean,
Not
you are
everybody is
huge.
looking at me like weird.
But what, like in that
I thought that was
scenario,
makeups
like,
on
like,
TV.
you were feeling that, but like, what would prevent, like, if everyone's just like, oh, who, like, out of genuinely, you are something that maybe they haven't seen up front, up close and personal, even though that still seems fucking weird in this day and age. But like, what would be an appropriate response for those people just to not stare at you? Like, people stare at you too, but you're huge, so it's like you're compelling. And I guess that's what it is. If you're compelling and captivating, how do
See-
people do that in a way that doesn't offend you?
Again, for me personally, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I don't really care.
You just
if
notice it.
Yeah, I no, that's the thing. I didn't care for people looking at me that way. I cared when the employees of the Walmart started following
yeah,
me
that's
around.
fucked up because then
Yeah,
they're
that's-
clearly judging
right,
you
right.
That-
negative.
That's
yeah.
that's
You know
when
what?
it got.
And I feel
fucked
the
up.
same way about being a constant eyesore or fucking
Eye candy, maybe.
conversational piece. People do honestly stare at inappropriate or weird times, but also just generally. So I'll be like getting off the bus, and I'll get off. There's 10 people standing on the corner, and all of them just stop.
Right.
Do the thing. And I mean, it's fine, but sometimes it's like, look, I just want to go and like get a burger. I don't need to be like the center of attention
Right.
right now. So I can understand the frustration. I think it's the approach. I think it's the way people do that. Like employees following you around because they think you're a security risk. I get that a lot, and I think it's fucking ridiculous. But at the same time, I mean, what the fuck are these mall security guards going to do at their time? It's like, well, that guy looks different. Check him out. Something going on. It's like, well, yeah, okay. If there was, you'd just lose anyway.
Right. Jim?
Jim,
No, I just wanted to do one more cottage one quick. And,
Get it.
Let's do it.
Is it going to be in any way like the
We
last
gotta
cottage
we
one?
gotta
not
bring her
even-
home.
not
We
even.
gotta bring her
were
home.
you,
It's
you
go
gotta redeem
time,
yourself. Were you
so-
snorkeling up on girls who were dating other people or what?
Yeah, I knew I shouldn't have told that one.
That's a great story, Jim. What are you talking about?
It's great.
And I edited that a lot too.
Good.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
No,
Remember, he
uh,
said he was naked, so I believe
Right.
this story was interesting and more interesting than he's leading up to. We can animate that later. Don't worry.
There he is.
No, just
Snorkel Jim.
my friend had past Muskoka. Jeez, south of North Bay,
Well,
somewhere.
Max is-
South of North Bay.
One of
so
my
South
ex-
Bay.
One
Yeah.
of one of my exes lived in Dorset. That's pretty
Dorset,
fucking
okay,
north.
yeah. And out in the middle of nowhere, no lake or anything, out in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden,
Shit town.
I guess we didn't put the food away proper, and this brown bear
Nice.
starts walking toward the cottage.
Brown bear in Ontario.
Yeah, it was a brown bear.
Wow.
Well, it was a bear, and it looked brown.
How big was it?
Bear sized. It's bigger than a dog.
Bears
I know.
come in some pretty serious size differentials.
Well, it wasn't
man.
polar.
Are you being
I've
bear?
been to the zoo. I know what a polar bear
Look
is.
like
size.
grizzly
Whoa,
bear.
whoa.
No, that's
You're
right.
being bear-cist.
No,
Right?
The only
Yeah.
reason I'm saying this is because they are there in various places, but
They're
brown
where?
bears
The-
are in
where?
northern Ontario.
The bears?
Brown bears.
Grizzly bears,
Because here's the
right?
thing. No.
So bears
No.
are
we
the-
don't have. We don't really
Grizzlies
have
are
grizzlies.
west,
They're
aren't they?
mountainous
So bears are
Yeah,
and
there.
in
west.
colder climes than we usually get. But you do have. Anyway, whatever. Sorry, I don't know why I'm nitpicking about bears here. It's
Because when
pretty
the
fun.
air
I'm not
gets
saying
thinner,
the
the
species
bears
was
are
a
up
brown
there.
bear. I'm
'Cause you're
saying it was.
bear-cist.
It
a
was brown in color.
and a bear.
and it was large enough to be like you were like, look at this fucking bear. Okay.
Well, yeah, and she's like, well, no, I'll go get my gun in case there's a problem. And she pulls out this old, like, it was the oldest .22 rifle I've ever. Like, I'm like, you want to say, hey, like Indiana Jones, this belongs in a museum. No, don't. If you shoot this, is it gonna like backfire and hit you?
It's
I
gonna
mean, like,
annoy the
when's
bear.
the last time?
It's just
You
going to
cleaned it
combust
out?
into dust
Yeah.
and just
And
explode.
also, shooting bears with a 22
Exactly.
is one of
What are
those
you gonna
like
do? Piss it off?
you
I mean,
probably shouldn't do that. Like it's one like yeah, you have the gun and that's great, but this is one of those times when it's like maybe you should just ignore the gun because it's not. The
Well,
right
that's
gun
it,
at
and that's
all.
like you just gonna you trying to get its attention when you shoot it with a
Do
22.
you want to see more bears? Like what?
Anyway, so and then she has the 22 and went in. Then she goes, no, I got this, and she goes and closes the screen door, and I'm thinking, all right, so I'm dead. There you go. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's her solution. So
Anyway,
Bears are known to
what
not open screen
happened
doors.
to the bear there, Jimbo?
Oh,
Wait
on
a
this-
second. Don't leave yet. Can I get another Dos Equis there, please?
Dos Equis.
From our awesome
Our lovely and lovely hosts here at Bar 1830.
Tristan.
What's yes?
Thank you very
Tristan,
much.
what up, what up?
Tristan,
thank
shout out
you.
on the
Big
show
shout outs.
live. Literally dozens of people might hear this.
So many people. Come down and see Tristan.
Come on down. Grab the mic for a second. Say hello.
Hello, people.
Yeah.
This
What
is the show to watch, you know.
what was the hot item on the menu tonight? What's the drink special, the cocktail special?
We had the red sangria, which has got a
Ooh.
little hint of something, but if you want to find out what, you know where the place to be.
You got to come
Oh,
down.
yeah.
Do
There
it
you
only
go.
in person. Yes, thank you, Tristan.
It's
Loves
a
you, man. Thank
18.
you.
And give him
30.
give him a big tip too.
We should
Always big tips.
Should we I think we should bring this one home here. We'll do a couple plugs. You can hit us up at 39DD Show on Facebook and Instagram. You can listen to us everywhere you listen to us for podcasts.
We got
or
some recent platforms.
including where you're listening to it right now. You watch episodes on YouTube.
Unless you're in Bracebridge.
Unless you're in Bracebridge, then
So turn this off right now because you know.
Although write in and talk about us because I like hearing Lars talk about Bracebridge and saying Bracebridge.
we
so
get
that's-
Bracebridge. We get analytics on who's listening where. So I think number 18, we're gonna see a bunch of pins.
if you
all
want to
around
reach out and
Bracebridge.
send somebody hate mail, it's going to be one of these two guys because I don't do that kind of thing. But they'll read it to me, and I will definitely say something about you on the air. Probably not flattering. You
Right.
know, that's how it goes. Hate away. Have a
Huge
great night,
Thank
guys.
you,
We love
Later,
you.
later. Bye.
Woo!